How's it going, my friends? I'm Fringy123 and I feel a bit guilty. Let me explain to you why in today's episode of Casual Friday. If you'll recall the video that I uploaded a couple of weeks ago entitled An Angry Gamer Plays the Battlefield 4 Multiplayer Beta, you'll know that I was really pissed off. Because the beta was unstable as shit. It's actually a lot better now, as demonstrated by, just playing it. But it got me thinking. It really got me thinking. And I brought up a couple of things in the video that kind of have made me think about this. Let me explain. I still stand by some of the things I said about the Battlefield stuff. Namely that, the whole commercial sort of, codification of Battlefield. I mean, you can notice just by playing it, the guns have a, like they're not bullet hoses by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not exactly as much recoil as in previous Battlefield games. Even Battlefield 3, which was a little bit neutered, I would say. At least they got rid of the blue filter though. But apart from that, I actually feel kind of stupid for some of how mad I was about that video. And it led me to think about something that I would say is probably one of the worst things that's happened to the gaming industry. And I would say that it's everyone's fault, and I'm including myself in this too. And that's about betas, and how we take betas for granted. Before, a beta was pretty much to test the game before launch, and the community gave feedback to the developers so that they could polish the game and make it as good as possible. And for a long time there weren't really any open betas. And this ties into the whole idea of pre-order incentive, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Before, a beta was pretty much the best way for the developers to find out what's wrong with the game and configure it for launch. And the entire community, well, not the entire, but a damn huge chunk of them, would contribute by saying, okay, so here's what's wrong with the beta, or here's the stability issues, and here's what you need to do. And that was good. That was a good beta. That's a beta that's going to actively improve the game, like fixing UI problems, things like that. Better optimization. Those are good parts about the beta. But the name of beta has been tarnished over the last, pretty much, I would say, this console generation, probably starting with the Halo 3 beta. And we're all to blame. A beta is an unfinished mess in a lot of ways, because there's still about a month before launch, and if you know stuff about development cycles, you know that towards the end of the development cycle, that's when they start optimizing and debugging. Most of the debugging stuff happens towards the end. They finished the game a while ago probably, and they're now just debugging the hell out of it, because they've probably only got about 10 more days before it goes gold and they have to release the game. And that will be the game. Of course, there's patching, which I've already discussed. If you want to see that video, I'll have a link to it. But really, the game should be ready for launch, and that's what a beta is for. A beta is meant to determine what needs to be fixed prior to launch. But betas are treated like demos now. A beta is treated less like, here's an unfinished product, you should expect it to be unfinished, and we need to fix some stuff. So you should expect that there'll be issues. It might not run as well as you'd like it to, or the final game, and it won't look as polished. But I think that now, as demonstrated in the video, it's shown that the industry has shifted, and that pretty much the entire core group of gamers have essentially forgotten that this is what a beta is meant to be. A beta is an unfinished thing, and yet numerous people like myself were getting mad that it wasn't working properly. And a beta is not a demo by any stretch of the imagination. A demo is a section of the game that's taken out and given to players to test the waters and see if it's a game they want to buy. It should not be a demo. A beta should not be a demo where people play it to figure out if it's the game they want to play. It should be a thing that the community will actively help fix the game. That's a good beta. And because we've taken it for granted, we now treat a beta as if it were a demo, which it definitely isn't. However, it's not all our fault. It's definitely publishers have a lot of share in the blame as well. The fact that a beta is now a pre-order incentive as opposed to a necessary part of the development cycle that is important for debugging is terrible. The fact that people pre-ordered and bought Medal of Honor Warfighter, a game that was universally panned, people were willing to buy that just so they would get access to the beta. You shouldn't be trying to get access to the beta like as though it's some sort of privilege. It's not really, because you're getting an unfinished game. You shouldn't be paying extra money to do that, but yet people do because they're really excited for it. If you look at the exclusive beta, there are a lot of people, and this is on PC, which, while it's the core Battlefield audience, there are a lot more people who would be playing it on console. And, I mean, a lot of those people would have had to have gotten Battlefield Premium or bought the Medal of Honor, or paid $10 extra for the Digital Deluxe Edition. And the Digital Deluxe Edition's barely even worth it. Apart from the beta, there's not really much. Only, like, in-game advantages, which are terrible. You should not be buying power. You shouldn't encourage people to pre-order to buy power. That's terrible. But the fact that people are willing to pay to get into an unfinished product probably shows how, I don't know, it's something to do with the idea of hype, and how games have become more hyped, you're more excited for them. Like, imagine if they did a Grand Theft Auto 5 multiplayer beta. People would have lost their minds. People would be paying like $20 extra just to play it because they're so eager to play it that they can't see that what they're playing is unfinished, and that they should come into it the mindset that it is an unfinished game and that it needs more polishing. And we all share blame in it. Us gamers for taking it for granted and just expecting it, but also developers and publishers for using it as a pre-order incentive. And it usually is. There are very few games that just have, here's the beta for everybody to play, like, just straight away. Most betas are either exclusive, or they're exclusive for a certain amount of time and then they're open. An example of this would be a lot of PlayStation betas where they were just exclusive to PlayStation Plus members, or just the Battlefield betas where you got early access if you paid extra money for things. The fact that people are willing to pay money to pretty much just help the publishers make more money by fixing the game, when you think about it that way, it seems pretty stupid, doesn't it? But, you know, oh well. I'm pretty, disappointed in myself for getting so angry. Particularly when the game is actually working properly now, though it was pretty piss poor optimization. I will say that. I will say that a beta still should be playable for a large chunk of gamers, considering I have a mid to high range, I'm not even going to say it's a high range anymore because it really isn't, a mid to high range PC, not able to play it. Yeah, there's something wrong with that, I think. But with that said, that's the end of today's episode of Casual Friday. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give a thumbs up and subscribe, it helps a lot. And I want you, after this video, to reflect on how you act as if you're a core gamer, how you would react to a situation like that, and whether or not your actions are justified, because I know that my video, I was getting too angry for what was really happening. I'm Fringy123, and have a good one.